In this video, I want to share with you that saving money is actually a choice, okay? And I have the graphs to prove it, so let's just dive right into it. So on this page here, this chart, we're looking at the personal saving rate in the United States, and I did the last 20 years, okay? So currently I'm recording this in October 2024. It looks like the data hasn't come out yet for the last 2 months, and I have it all the way down through October 2004, right? So the last 20 years. What this is showing, and this graph is by year, and then this is by the percentage of savings, okay? And the site defines personal savings as a percentage of disposable personal income, right? So it's basically just the money that you get in personally, how much of that are you pushing out towards a savings or a financial goal, right? And you can see how the chart sort of moves throughout history, and let's talk about two specific areas, okay? The first is the financial crisis in the 2008 timeframe, right? Everyone thinks about that timeframe as like one of the worst in obviously like modern US economic history, right? One of the worst. But what was interesting when I was looking at this is from 2004, so we had about 4%, and then we went down to 1.5%, okay? And then 2008 happens, we're about the 2% mark. This shaded area indicated by this graph, shaded areas indicate US recessions, okay? So this is a recession in here, this whole thing. It starts as 2%, and at the end of this recession, in one of the worst financial times in modern history, right? It went up to 8% savings. Now, were there some things that were happening economically that helped propel this? Yes, of course, right? But I just like to show that because even if it's doom and gloom, there's still opportunity for people to be saving money. Now, the real one that I wanted to talk to you about is all the way over here in 2020. Now, what happened in 2020? Yes, the pandemic, right? Really, March and April here in the United States were the biggest like months of like things locking down and, people staying in their houses. And in April of 2020, the savings rate skyrockets from, we'll say, 6%, 7% to 32%. So a third of people's disposable incomes were being saved. Now, why is that? Well, we just kind of talked about it, right? Things were being shut down in March, things were being shut down in April, and people couldn't do anything at all. Like the vacations were canceled, the social events were canceled, the going out to restaurants were canceled, right? All the things where people spend money on were basically canceled. You just were left with like groceries, and maybe you bought like the Netflix no ad subscription or whatever, right? But like all the extra money was going towards people's savings. Now, of course, this wasn't for everyone. There were people that, lost their jobs and lost like a lot of, like their homes. So I don't want to overlook that aspect, right? This is sort of an average. So of course, like people lost during this time frame, and I don't want to like overshadow that with this, but I wanted to prove to you that saving money is a choice. Now, this wasn't really like a choice that we wanted to make. Like we didn't want all this stuff to get shut down. But why I'm bringing this up is imagine if you treated your life similar to that, where you cut all that stuff out of your life, the unnecessary spending, because that's what it is, right? Like people like vacations, yeah, people like seeing their friends at a restaurant or whatever, but like, is that helping you reach a financial goal? No. So it depends on how serious you are about maybe paying down your debt, maybe putting more money towards your retirement, whatever the thing is, right? So while this wasn't like a choice that we wanted, it was still a choice. Like you could have gone online and you could have spent, I don't know, the money that you're going to spend on vacation, you could have spent that on some stupid thing for your house, like this expensive couch or something, right? But people weren't doing that. By the data, people weren't doing that. They were putting a third of their paychecks in a savings account or whatever, financial goal, right? And you could sort of see it went down here and then back up. And the stimulus checks were coming, right? And so obviously that inflated this period a little bit because there were people that didn't need the stimulus checks that were getting stimulus checks, and they were just pushing them towards financial goals, right? But the point is that if you treated your regular life like not as extreme as this, obviously, I'm not saying lock yourself in your house, but just think about it like it's a choice that you can make. And then obviously things happen, lockdowns going away, and then look at people start spending their money again, right? And they didn't save it, right? So June 2022, so like the summer's coming around, people are like, screw this. I'm going on vacation, I'm doing all the things, and I don't care about my future right now. So that is clearly what happened with that. It's down to 2%, and now we're up to like 5%, which has been pretty steady throughout history, right? It's been around this like 5% plus or minus a couple of percentage points, right? So we'll call 5% the average. So 32% is insane. Now, again, it doesn't have to be this extreme, but what if you found, 18%? That sounds pretty cool. 18% of your paycheck towards a financial goal. You know how quickly you would win if you put 18% of your paycheck towards a financial goal? There's this budgeting strategy out there called the 50-30-20 budgeting rule, okay? And what this says, it's sort of a general baseline framework for you to think about with your budgeting, but 50% of your paycheck goes to need items, 30% of your paycheck goes to want items, and 20% of your paycheck goes towards a financial goal like saving money, okay? And that's sort of the framework. I can guarantee you, I don't have the numbers behind this, but I can guarantee you that a vast majority of people are not saving 20% of their paycheck. It is hard, like granted, it's very hard, but it's possible, right? This graph shows that it's possible. So in this April 2020, people were paying for their need items, right? And then obviously you still needed to like live and utilities and all this other stuff, your housing, groceries, you got to eat, unfortunately, right? But what was happening is that 30%, we'll call it, of want items probably shrunk in half or even more to like 5, 10, 15% of the thing. And then the rest of the money, people were just pushing towards financial goals. And again, the data clearly shows it that that's what was happening. So quick video, just something for you to think about. I'm uploading daily videos. I will see you in the next one.